Welcome to Panels and Borders. I'm Dominic. So this video is going to be kind of a little bit off topic because I really don't cover movies like this. It's usually sci-fi movies and sci-fi shows and stuff like that. But I wanted to, for some reason I just had this itch to do a video about this new upcoming Maverick movie. So I watched the trailer. I actually thought the trailer was really good, the movie, and it really sold me on the movie, and I got excited to see this movie. Now, Tom Cruise, I've grown to like his films over the years. He puts out a pretty, steady supply of action movies, and they're usually pretty good. I've seen quite a few of them, and they're not bad. Like Edge of Tomorrow was really good, and there's some other ones like that were, pretty well done. But when I watched this trailer, it dawned on me that I've never actually saw the original Top Gun. So I was so hyped for the movie Maverick, and I saw this look so cool, the sequel to Top Gun. And then I started thinking, well, geez, I don't think I've ever actually seen Top Gun. Now, I've seen bits and pieces of the original Top Gun. I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years, but I've never seen it like completely start to finish. It's just one of those movies I was never, it was like a big iconic movie in the 80s. I know that, and the song was hugely popular. The Danger Zone, like that song I've listened to lots when I was a kid, and even as an adult I listened to that a lot. But I never actually watched the movie. So I decided to sit down and actually watch the whole movie from start to finish. And I did that a few days ago. I got Amazon Prime recently, and Top Gun was on there, so I decided to watch it. Now, it's not a bad movie. It's not as much action as I thought there would be. Like the main, it seems like the main driving part of the story is the romance between him and one of the girl, the female instructor. Now, she's not an actual military; she's a civilian, but she's like an astrophysicist or something like that. And she's does like the physics behind all how the planes work and in combat and all that kind of thing. And she ends up falling for Tom Cruise's character Maverick. And so that's kind of like the main thread of the movie. And the other thing is the character of Maverick is a really arrogant character in this movie. He's very arrogant. He's a hotshot pilot. He's totally arrogant. He takes a lot of risks, and he's kind of insubordinate. Like, he does a flyby the tower when he was told not to, and he kind of, their instructions on when to take out an enemy at a certain at a certain height, he disregards that and gets reprimanded for it, but he takes a lot of risks. And now his co-pilot Goose is a little bit more reserved. He doesn't really like the idea that Maverick takes all these risks, and he tries to reel him in all the time, but it doesn't really work. So he's really arrogant and kind of acts like nothing bad is ever going to happen to him, and he's just going to come out on top all the time. But what actually happens, and now when him and Goose go to this Top Gun training school for only the best of the best pilots, and this school was started to teach pilots how to fight in a dogfight, because it was something that had started to become lost with modern aircraft, the art of dogfighting. And so they enter into the school, and the best student wins the Top Gun trophy. So Maverick is going after this trophy, and one of his rivals is Iceman, and he didn't have as big of a part in the movie as I originally thought he would have, just because I've always seen bits and pieces of the movie. But he didn't have as huge of a role as I thought he would have from what I've seen of the film. So he kind of has a bit of a, he's like the most other best pilot, this Iceman guy. So they have a bit of kind of crackheads a little bit. And then he develops this romance with this girl, but he's had a lot of women, and he's kind of slept around a lot. And but this is the one moment, I guess, that finally ties him down. He falls in love with her. But now, at the height of his arrogance, something really bad happens to his plane. Something happens that kind of shorts out, I think, one of the engines or something, some kind of the way the air fed into the jet, and then him and Goose, they lose control, they spin out of control, and they eject from the plane, and Goose ends up smacking his head on the canopy as they're launched out, and Goose ends up dying. So Maverick had, gotten away with all this daring stuff and never getting a scratch, and always avoiding death and patting himself on the back for it, and he's never actually suffered any ramifications for his actions up to this point. Now they do an investigation. It turns out that he isn't responsible for what happened to the plane, but he still feels responsible for what happened to Goose, and he kind of loses it, loses his confidence, and he almost decides he almost quits flying, and he doesn't end up winning the Top Gun award because he actually drops out. And so he really gets knocked down a peg. He has to really drink pretty deep from the cup of humility, this character. And so kind of at the end, he comes back, he makes it back, and he ends up rejoining the Air Force, and he ends up in a real life combat situation, and he kind of starts to freeze up, but then he remembers his friend Goose, and he kind of almost prays to his friend Goose kind of thing to give him strength, and he ends up prevailing and kind of gets his confidence back at the end of the movie. So it was kind of interesting movie. It had this kind of theme, and one of the themes of the movie, I guess, that I could pick out of the movie anyway, besides the love theme, that was kind of the love theme. The love theme of love and the romance angle was kind of cheesy in this movie, but the theme of arrogance and how arrogant someone can get and how far they can fall when they are so arrogant and they get knocked down a few pegs. I mean, they really get knocked down, really get flattened. It's like that old saying, pride goeth before a fall. And so that was one of the themes of being arrogant and getting knocked down, and then having to come back and gain your confidence again, but this time coming back as a much more humble character. So it makes me really interested to see how they're gonna handle the character in the new movie Maverick, because it's been over 30 years, or at least 30 years, more than 30 years, I guess, since Top Gun came out. And so where is this character now after 30 years? How is he, is he arrogant again, or is he going to be grown more humble, or how are they going to handle the character, and what is the plot of the movie going to be? So I'm really curious to see what it's all about. I just thought I'd just get this out of my system, this video. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.